as someone who studied this, do you have some optimism in terms of the way specifically America, maybe the rest of the world, is starting to re-recognize this? Or is it becoming more and more distant as history, as it becomes farther back in history?
Right. Well, it's a little bit of both. The American media over the past few years has finally started to call the genocide by its rightful name, that it was a genocide under international law and international definitions. In the past, even the major newspapers in America would sort of write he said, she said. The Armenians say genocide, Turks say it wasn't genocide. But so the media has finally come around, not all the media, but much of the media in the United States. In terms of the American government, there have been resolutions that try to affirm the veracity of the genocide, and they've been proposed by Armenian American advocates since the mid-'70s. And largely these resolutions have failed over the years, and the last one was in 2007, and when it was before a House committee, President Bush went on the White House lawn and gave this dramatic speech saying that, you know, if you pass this resolution, Turkey might close our bases, and it'll be a threat to our forces in Iraq, et cetera. And these kinds of threats have been going on for 20 years, every time these resolutions come up. So in terms of the American government, there has been a failure to reaffirm for a long time now, even though, as I said, when the genocide was taking place, the American government and the American people were the greatest champion of the Armenians and provided the most charity of any country in the world.
How about the UN? I mean, UN, when it comes to the Holocaust and the UN's hatred for Israel and Zionism, it's no surprise that, they're not very excited about the Holocaust. But Armenians are not first world. They're not Americans. They're not particularly pro-Israel. How is the UN dealing with the Armenian genocide in its body?
Right. The UN has never dealt with it directly in terms of, as a body, sitting down, looking at the historical record and making a judgment one way or the other. But back in the 1980s, there was a UN subcommission that was authorized to look at human rights and the history of human rights. And in the report that it produced, and this wasn't just any report, it was the official final report of a subcommission that had met for more than a decade. It did include the Armenian Genocide as one of the genocides of the 20th century. But that's different, as I said, than having the whole UN vote on the issue. Well,
I have to tell you, speaking as someone who also lost family in our version of the genocide of World War II, I and others will be there to keep on promoting the fact that you just can't forget. I mean, you just can't forget. The book that Michael wrote is called Children of Armenia, A Forgotten Genocide and the Century-Long Struggle for Justice. And there's a picture of an Armenian family. Is this your family, by the way, Michael?
No, it's a family of Mr. Martin Marutian, who's one of the figures I write about in the book.
All right. Michael Bobelian, Bobelian, Children of Armenia. And it's a hell of a read. It really is. And it's going to wake you up in terms of just how crappy the world is. If you weren't a cynic now, you certainly will be when you finish this. Michael, thank you very much for joining us here on KFI.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.